Hello Internet. Got another custom saber to show you today. This one was kind of a labor of love, honestly. It's one that I've been meaning to make for a while. I've had the part sitting around. Um, tell you the full story of this. Started out, I had, uh, I guess it's been about 3 years ago now, I played the Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. And in doing so, I decided that I wanted to make a Zelda Master Sword Saber. So after modeling it up in CAD for 3D printing, I decided that that would probably be the best medium for me to make the guard of it, just because I don't think I could feasibly make it on the lathe, or no, well, I can't make it on the lathe, but on the milling machine very well. So I stuck with the 3D printer, and this was my first attempt. It's not great. This was prototype number one. And then after a while, I kind of threw the idea away for a while and came back to it a couple years later, and some more CAD experience under my belt, and now I have this. The body of it is aluminum, with the guard and the pommel being 3D printed out of PTG filament, so it is a little more heat resistant than PLA, and it's a lot easier to work with generally. It's easier to sand, easier to paint, and this, that, and the other. Anyway, but this is probably going to be strictly a shelf queen. I don't think, I would not duel with this, just because those wings would easily break off with a saber strike. It would not be pretty. They're not exactly flimsy, but if you're full contact dueling, it's not going to be a pretty sight. And also, given that it's painted, the paint could chip. The weathering could rub off a little easier, even though it is clear coated to protect the weathering on it. I don't think I would duel with it personally. Anyway, it is weathered to be like the rusty Master Saber in Breath of the Wild. So I'll go ahead and pull it off its pedestal here, and then we'll put it back on. That is just a wooden pedestal with a piece of polycarbonate tubing stuffed down in it that the saber rests on to stand. As you can see, it is fully weathered. Originally, I had not planned for it to be weathered, but my 3D printer changed that plan for me. If you'll notice some of the lines that are there, they're kind of hard to tell on camera. In person, they're a little easier up close, but from about 2 feet, 3 feet away, they're not as noticeable. But my printer, partway through, got jammed, and as it got jammed, it shifted the print to the right just ever so slightly, and so it's noticeable in some spots where, so I tried to cover those up with my weathering, if you can see that. Sorry, I'm looking at the saber, not my viewfinder here, my bad. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the saber here. Internally, we're running a RGBW LED with the blue and the white tied together, and the green and the red tied together, so that way you have a whitish blue blade color. And since I'll get on with that, it is a with a pinkish flash on clash. You've got a brass switch that has been weathered to match the rest of the saber, with a kill key that has been painted brass and weathered. You've got an 18500 lithium-ion battery, Nano Biscotte V3, and a 20mm speaker. And there's the pommel down there. It's vented for sound, with cracks and weathering to make it look kind of rusty. Overall, I think I actually did okay on the weathering. I tried not to go too overboard, and just make it look like wherever the scratches are, that's where it's rusted, and the rust has kind of tapered down the saber over time and gotten into all the nooks and crannies of it. Anyway, that's about it. As far as sound fonts go, since it is a Nano Biscotte V3, it has 2 sound fonts. The first font is by Juan Sith over on the saberfont.com that you can go check out. The second one is a font that I was trying to make using Breath of the Wild sounds, so that way it'd be a little more in character for the Saber. However, it didn't quite turn out as well as I had hoped, which you'll see in just a minute here. I am not a audio engineer or very good at audio mixing, as it turns out, so my font is very clicky. If whoever, I am going to put this up for sale, whoever wants it, if they want a regular Saber font instead of the clicky one on there, I'll go ahead and swap it out. Not a big deal. So let's go ahead and pull the kill key. So there's the kill key, real quick and easy pull. Press the button, and it lights up on the stand if you want it to. Go ahead and pull it off there. I don't have a plug installed right now because it's sitting on the stand, but I will be including one.
1 hour later.
Okay, let's go ahead and pop the blade plug in here. Goes all the way in. It has a 2 5/8 inch depth blade socket, so it is very deep. Here is your blade retention screw. Here is your body retention screw for the guard. So if you really want to take the guard off and duel with it, you could. You just pull this screw all the way out. Pull this screw all the way out. The guard slides up and off. And then you just put in a new blade retention screw to hold in the blade. But for now, we'll just go ahead and tighten this on up. It's in there nice and tight. It's set for long enough. I had to go find an Allen wrench. And there's your blade color. It is kind of a silvery, shimmery blue. With kind of a pinkish orange flash on clash. Given that it is a Nano Biscotte 3, you have 8 swings, 8 clashes. Now let's go ahead and swap to the second font. There's your shimmery silvery blue. I kind of went with the sound that it makes when you hold down the Master Sword for the swing. I kind of went with that and one of the Ancient Sword sounds when you pull that out. Hear that click? See, that one not so noticeable, but every once in a while, I think it's 4 of the 8 swings and 5 or 6 of the 8 clashes have a auto tick at the end of it. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but that's the problem with that font. But it can be changed to a different one. It's not like it's the end of the world. It just kind of messed with my plans for this Saber. Go ahead and put the kill key back in. Take out the blade. It just pops right on out. And rest it back on the stand. As you can see, the stand is made of wood that I have stained and then weathered and carved the Triforce symbol into to act more like a standable base, since it is more of a Shelf Queen Saber. I think that about covers it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer them. And I will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.